Coach Sully here. On today's MatChat, we're going to be talking about trusting the training, trusting your preparation. We all want certainty. We want a script, a prediction, guarantees that certain outcomes are going to happen if we do certain things. And life just doesn't work that way. In martial arts, even though we follow in traditional martial arts, you have katas and forms. We learn combinations. We do all types of different drills. Ultimately, what we're training to do is to be able to respond, to whatever outcome, whatever circumstances that we're confronted with. In order to do that, you have to not be dependent on your script. And what does that mean? That means that your reaction is not scripted, even though we use things like drills, like combinations, like forms to practice what we do in martial arts. We don't do it because we are under some illusion that when we're using these skills, the circumstances are going to play out specifically like we drill it. So, for example, you take a combination like a jab, cross, hook. You might only land one of those punches. You might not even land any of those punches. And you might not even throw the combination in the exact order that you drilled it. But what you're doing when you're practicing and drilling is you're training your instincts. You're training your muscle memory to react to the circumstances and not stick to the script. You know, we have, even in sales, you'll have a script. In music, you have a format that a song or something that you're performing might fall under. But there's always the script is for you to develop a sense of awareness of where you are. The script is basically guardrails to keep you moving in the right direction. But the goal of having a script, the goal of drilling is never about following that script to the letter. It's always about developing your instincts and developing your reactions and responses to fit whatever the circumstances are, whatever the situation is. And a lot of times with martial arts, the pressure that we get put under, and this kind of goes to trusting our training, the pressure that we get put under, the pressure that life puts us under as well, reveals the reality, reveals who we are. So when you purposely, and this all kind of goes back to training and following a certain training regimen, a big part of that is testing and putting yourself in those pressure situations to test what those responses are going to be. A lot of times in life, we try to avoid these high pressure situations, not understanding that the pressure of testing reveals where you are. it tells you what you're capable of doing. It reveals your strengths. It exposes your weaknesses. It tells you what you need to be working on, what you do well. All of these things that you learn by putting yourself in a pressure situation, you wouldn't learn otherwise. So, just in life in general, when life tests us and puts us in tight situations, those are really blessings in disguise, because otherwise we wouldn't know where we are, we wouldn't know where we stand. And it's important to know where you are for your own self-confidence, for your own self-improvement. And pressure does that. Pressure reveals. Now, part of creating a training atmosphere that you can trust, part of creating a learning atmosphere that you can trust, is making sure that you protect the actual room, protect the environment. A lot of times you have maybe behaviors or even individual personalities that don't mesh, that doesn't mix well with the culture that you're trying to create, that you're trying to preserve. Certain things, certain attitudes are not going to be healthy for a learning environment. Certain behaviors are not going to promote the things that you want to promote in your environment. So you have to protect that room. You have to make sure that you have standards, you have procedures, you have scripts, you have things that you follow to make sure that the culture of the environment is maintained and it stays the way that you want it to stay. That sometimes means saying no. That sometimes means shutting the door for certain people. That sometimes means having difficult conversations. But the environment that you are training in, the environment that you're building in, has to be protected. Now, when we're training, when we're trying to improve, we also have to approach it with the right mind frame, with a mind frame that's going to get us where we want to go. And we see it all the time. I see, especially in the combat sports arena, people want to walk through the doors and fight immediately. They want to learn, they want to get to the end result quickly. And then when they find out that, wait a minute, this is something that's going to take years, quite honestly, depending on how talented you are, they then get discouraged. And the reason why they get discouraged is that when they find out how far they need to go, they look at it as something that's so far away. The journey becomes discouraging. And that's why you have to, instead of trying to get good, just get better. Trying to get good, trying to master, trying to become a professional, trying to shoot straight to expert is overwhelming. But trying to get better is easier to digest. Trying to get better is going to give you reasons to celebrate more often. Trying to get better is an enjoyable journey at every step. Trying to get better will get you better. And you might not become the best. You might not become an expert. You might not become a master in a few weeks, but you will get better. As a matter of fact, you get better every time you walk through the door, every time you step on the mat. And sometimes looking at the entire journey, when you discover, wait a minute, this is going to take some time. Looking at that whole journey can be like, wait, I can't do this. So instead of focusing on trying to be good, trying to get great, it's easier to focus on trying to get better. Now, with challenges, and especially in the fight game, I love using the fight analogy, but with the challenges that you are confronted with, and this applies on and off the mat, most of the time, those challenges are not there to beat you. And I tell people all the time, if you want to create an atmosphere where you are learning quickly, learning smoothly, learning enjoyably, you have to basically check the competitiveness at the door. It's when you're trying to compete all the time, you don't really give yourself space to learn, space to grow. And not every opponent is there to beat you. As a matter of fact, most of them are not there to beat you. When you step on the mat and you're sparring with your teammate, your training partner, he's not there to beat you. It might feel like he's there to beat you, but he's there to make you better. He's there to help you get better. Even if you're a professional fighter, your actual opponent that's looking across the ring at you, that person also is not there to beat you. And what determines that is how you frame it, how you look at those situations. When you're going through hardship, there's always learning moments in your hardship. And we all look at the things, the trials and the tribulations that we've gone through in our life. We always look back at them in hindsight as a badge of honor. Nobody brags about the easy time they had doing something. Everybody looks back at those moments and as moments that made them better, moments that taught them something. So when we're standing across from an obstacle, from what looks like on the surface as an enemy, a lot of time that enemy is there to make us better. That enemy is there to teach us something. There's opportunity in that enemy, even when it feels like that enemy is trying to hurt you. A lot of times they're not trying to hurt you. The hardships that you go through in life are not there to hurt you because, like I said, every hardship that you've gone through has taught you something, has made you a better person. And just, like I said, we use the martial arts analogy all the time. But when you step into a gym Those people who you share the mats with, even though you're throwing punches, you're trying to choke them, you're trying to reverse them, you're trying to do these things that on the surface looks like harming them, you're really trying to help them. And that attitude should be adapted with all of your obstacles that life puts in front of you, with all of your difficulties that life puts in front of you. Because we have a saying in jiu-jitsu. We say that you either win or you learn. That means that there is no losing. Even when something actually causes you pain, there's still something that you can take from it. There's still something that you can learn from it. It's still an opportunity. Those are the best opportunities to grow from. So that training partner that gives you a hard time on the mat, that's the one that's keeping you on your toes and bringing out the best in you. Those difficult moments in life, those are the ones that show you what you're made of. That exposes your weaknesses so you can grow. But just like in life, training, it doesn't follow a script. Even though we follow scripts, life doesn't follow script. Just like a fight doesn't follow a script. And if you create the right environment, if you trust your training, if you focus on improving as opposed to getting good, you can lean on your preparation and trust your preparation when life does what it does and steps away from the script. All right, guys, gotta run. Coach Sully, Reps and Sweat, Frederick, Maryland. This was MatChat.